Thank you for jumping on. I am also live on Job Market Jewels. So if you follow Job Market Jewels, you'll be able to see the interview live. Okay, so you'll be able to see me in addition to the person that I'm interviewing tonight. So jump on over to Job Market Jewels and follow that page, and you'll be able to see both me and the person I'll be interviewing tonight. How are y'all doing? All right, so definitely going to get started now. Thank you all so much for joining. Again, if you would like to see myself and the person that I'll be interviewing, head on over to Job Market Jewels and follow that page where you'll be able to catch us both talking, having a conversation about harnessing your power live. But yeah, welcome to Job Market Jewels. Job Market Jewels is a bridge, okay? It's a bridge, and it's all about building a bridge, whether that's across the job market, whether it's connecting people, educating people. It's all about the job market and what it means to connect with people in your neighborhood, in your area, and across the world. Which for me, that means that both of my passions have combined. So my passion for educating people and my passion for the job market. And so I'm very excited tonight to be interviewing someone who is, I think, extremely phenomenal, just an awesome person all around. And so her name is Simone Daniels. I'm going to introduce her, and then I'm going to have her join us in our live tonight. Okay, so just a little bit about Simone Daniels. Simone Daniels is an author with a powerful message to share. She has always believed that there is good in everyone. She has lived by the words she writes and speaks for many years. She holds a bachelor's degree in business management from Rosemont College and a master's degree in human resources from Villanova University, which has given her a broad understanding of the business world and as well as human behavior. Her experiences has taught her many life lessons, which she conveys with passion and depth. Most importantly, Simone believes in the beauty and power of people coming together for the betterment of all of us. And so, in addition to that, she has served for almost 5 years in the United States of America's Air Force. So with that, I would like to welcome Simone Daniels. I'm going to have her come on. Oh, there she goes. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. I can.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining us. I'm excited
Absolutely.
about this.
So am I. Thank you.
Yes. So how are you? Like, how's everything going?
Everything is fabulous. I'm breathing the breath of life, so I am good.
You look good.
Thank you. So do you.
And thank you for your service.
Anytime.
5 years.
It was my pleasure.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I just introduced you. And I was telling my wonderful viewers here tonight that you are an author. Okay.
Yes.
I have your book here. It's absolutely beautiful. And I can't wait for us to talk about the illustration on the cover. But tonight, the topic of conversation is harnessing your power.
Yes.
So I definitely want to get into what that means, how you harness your power, steps that we can take to harnessing our power, But before anything,
Yes.
my first question for you, my dear, is
Yes.
how would you define power?
Well, one word, control. So power is, of course, the word itself, it sounds powerful. It sounds like it has this huge connotation, this huge magnitude. Uh, Being able to control oneself, that alone is powerful. And a lot of the times people don't realize that the power that lies within themselves, it's something that they can actually, you know, look inward and use outward to make their world and the world around them a better place.
I love it. I love it. Control.
Yes, control. We,
Control.
we have to harness the control of ourselves and move forward with positive stuff.
Nice. And I guess that kind of segues into my second question for you because you talk a lot about power in your book.
Yes.
You talk a lot about inspiration in your book.
Yes.
So when you think of someone who has overcome the odds to demonstrate tremendous strength and power, who comes to mind and why?
Well, a few people come to mind. Ellen DeGeneres comes to mind. My mother comes to mind. There are several very strong people who come to mind. I'll talk about my mom and I'll talk about Ellen if that's okay.
Yeah.
So let me start first with Ellen. Ellen has been through quite a bit, and the things that she went through, they were done publicly. Ellen didn't allow that to break her spirits. Ellen realized that there's something that she needed to learn about herself so that she would be able to overcome the obstacles that she experienced, and she was able to better herself and he just build a better world around herself and then spread that love to others. My mother is another person that comes to mind. As a young woman with 3 children and a husband, she basically left that life behind, came to America, and she, you know, she went through so much. I remember her being in America and my grandma passing away, and she wasn't even able to attend the funeral because of, you know, the process that was ongoing for immigration. So there's so much that she missed out on as a young child. I remember her not being there, and then when I saw her again for the first time, it was like I didn't know her. But she was able to, you know, overcome those obstacles and build a relationship with her kids, and also spread that love to others, people that were trying to come to the United States and get on their feet, people who were already in the United States. She helped them to, you know, just have a place to lay their heads so that they don't have to worry about where they're going to sleep, where the, you know, what they're going to eat, and they were able to, you know, persevere and move on and thrive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Your book, Rise Up, Stand Tall, Be Better. It's a memoir. It's inspirational. It's like a journal. It's like a diary. It's a playlist. It's a self-help guide. It's just a cry for the nation, I believe. It's a great book. It's phenomenal.
Thank you.
Phenomenal. What was your inspiration behind Rise Up, Stand Tall, Be Better?
Well, over the years, I personally have experienced a lot of hardship. And one of the things that I've told myself is that regardless of what I go through, I promise myself that I will not become a bitter person. Whatever I can do to help the next person, I will do. I've also, you know, tried to teach my son. I've been a single mom his entire life. And so being able to impress that upon him helps him to understand that it's not just about me, it's about us. All of us are in this together. And when we go through things, we should learn from them and be able to help others and move forward.
Wow. That's amazing. That's a lot of strength and that's a lot of power. So I think you're the perfect person right now to be discussing harnessing your power. Being a single mom in itself is powerful.
Yes. Yes, that was actually a very challenging experience. It was rewarding, and still is, because my son is now 19 years old. But, there are times when, as a parent, you struggle to, understand if you're actually helping your kid go down the right path, or what you're doing as a parent, if that's setting the right examples for them. So, that within itself is power. And being able to harness that power is beyond anything that I can actually put together with anything else and compare it. As a parent, children, they look up to us. Yeah. They look up to us for right and wrong. And when you are leading your children, you're leading them with your actions. You're leading them with your words. And if you're not of the right mindset, your children, they're going to emulate the mindset that you have. Not only that, but that's what they're going to grow into, and the cycle will continue. So being able to help your children to understand that it's important that we all are in this together, and we should all try to help each other, overlook whatever their financial background is, what their race is, their religious background. All of that doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we are one. It's you for me for you. I would not exist without you, and you would not exist without me.
Powerful words. I hear someone in the comments, they're like, yes, so true. Sound words of power. Yes, it is. So, you have a lot of people agreeing right now with what you're saying. Let's talk about the cover of your book. I have never seen a cover quite like this. I think it's very, I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, what was the inspiration behind the illustration of your book?
So as I was writing the book, I knew that I wanted to have a very powerful piece of art to be on the front of the book. When I looked at the words and I thought about where I had started from, because again, the book was a self-help guide and a reminder for my son and myself that we should always, try to be better. I wanted it to be a reflection of a person who's basically a younger person looking at themselves in the mirror as a person who's now grown. And when I said grown, I don't mean age-wise. I'm speaking about the experiences that has built them into the person that they're now.
I just said a phoenix.
Yes. So the person that came to mind was my niece. Her name is Nicolette Forbes, and she is a brilliant artist.
Shout out to Nicolette.
Yes. So shout out to Nick. So when I envisioned the piece, I said to Nicolette, I would like for you, first of all, to read the book, and I need you to, banter with me so that we can kind of make sure that we have an understanding and are on the same page. And at first I wanted just the woman with the phoenix. And she looked at me and she said, well, Auntie, I understand what you're saying. However, one of the things that I got from reading the parts of the book that I have is that this person has grown. They have evolved. Mm-hmm. And so being able to look in the mirror and see the evolution of rising up, standing tall, and being a powerful person. And also, if you look closely at the cover, you'll see that there's a heart over a heart that's drawn over the heart of the person that's there, which of course that's me. And with that, she has an illumination of light, and the illumination of light represents a person who has been through a lot and looking back and now becoming the person that they are. They're able to shine that light of love that they have for themselves to everyone else. So it's a piece of growth, self-reflection, and overcoming.
I love it.
Thank you.
It's absolutely beautiful. Shout out to Nicolette Forbes. It actually says it here on the cover. Shout out to her. Yeah. So now in your book, you talk a lot about resilience.
Yes.
You talk a lot about passion. You talk a lot about purpose.
Yes.
How do those words, resilience, passion, and purpose, define who you are?
How do they define who I am? Well, as I said before, I've been through quite a bit. I have been through some things that I would never want anyone else to experience. But at the end of the day, I overcame those things. The passion that I have is my drive to try to make our world a better place. I know the world that I live in, and it is a tumultuous world right now. It feels like we're going down it feels like we're in an abyss of madness. It really does. And so at the end of the day, the passion that I have for everyone else, all my fellow humans, is what drives me. And it drives me with a lot of purpose to try and change our world one person at a time. If just one person has a different outlook after having an encounter with me as a person, or after reading the book, if they think to themselves, you know what? Yeah, I guess I think that way. Maybe I do need to change my mindset. So, that right there is who I am, just a person who has overcome, who has, looked at the fact that I actually love people. I do. I love people, and I want us to all
I
be
say
in
that
touch
all the
with
time. People look at
together.
me like I'm crazy. They're
Well,
like, what? You actually what? I'm like, yeah.
yes, I love people. And it's funny because I will do anything that I can to put a smile on a person's face, because there's nothing like a person having a really, really rough day and you just walking up to them and saying, "Hi, how are you? How's your day?" And really genuinely meaning it,
Yeah.
really wanting to know how their day is going. You never know if you could be the one person that makes that difference. That person, I've seen stories of people who are suicidal, people who are going through really, really hard times,
Absolutely.
and it just takes one person.
Yeah.
It just takes one to make that difference, and people's lives can change forever. So, it's really important that we try and harness whatever goodness we have within us and share it with everyone else.
That's the perfect segue into my next question. I think that's an amazing response,
Thank you.
especially with all of the suicides that's been going on lately, and all the things that we've been hearing about in our society, in our world. I'm all about action, and
Yes.
I know that my viewers would love to know what are some actionable steps that we could take right now if we wanted to harness our power.
Okay. So, one of the things I would recommend is getting a journal and splitting it down the side, like having one side that shows your strengths, one side that shows your weaknesses. With you looking at your strengths, think about the strength that you have and how it impacts others. Look at your weaknesses and think about how your weaknesses impact others. Look at what you can improve. One of the things that's really important is also doing some research. There's a lot of information out there. People sometimes reference Google as Dr. Google because they're hypochondriacs, and a lot of people who self-diagnose things that are going on. But you can also find very helpful tips on, how to change your mindset. There are books that you can read. Mine is one of them. Rise Up, Stand Tall, Be Better is one of those books that you can read and say, oh, you know what? I really was one of those people who thought this way. At the end of the day, there are many cultures across our country. And for us to be in that space where we don't even give a person a second thought just because of who they are, that's unfathomable. And it's really a shame. So, when it comes right down to it, I think it's really, really, really important for people to stop and think, first of all. They need to self evaluate, second of all. And they need to understand that everything that they do, whether it's action, whether it's thought, whether it's words, it actually does make a difference what you do, what you think, and what you say. So you see a person out on the road, you may not be in the mood to talk to them. You don't have to. But at the end of the day, you don't need to be nasty to them either. We should not judge others just because we have a different upbringing. We should be able to embrace each other and say, you know what? We're all in this together. This is a crazy, beautiful life. And even though we might have our struggles, there are things that we can learn from each other. So self-reflection, looking up things that they can do to
Exactly.
yes. So looking at, and a lot of people have cell phones that they can just jump on Google real quick. So at the end of the day, it's one of those things where just taking the time out to get to know who you are and loving who you are and being able to understand what love truly means. And it's not that you have to love everyone unconditionally. It's just that you need to be more mindful and you need to care a little bit more about your fellow man, because everything that happens with your fellow man, it does impact you in a different way. Whether it's a positive way or a negative way, it does impact all of us.
Just making the world a better place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, just being kind. Being kind. That is one of the simplest things that a person can do is be kind. And people don't stop and think, you know what? I'm going to just be kind today. Because it takes effort. It really does. It takes a lot of effort. And sometimes people are in a hurry. They're in a rush. They don't feel like, you know what? I'm going to stop right now and just take a couple seconds and just be kind. But if you are kind to someone, I promise you, they're going to reflect on that and they're going to pay it forward to somebody else. It may not be the next person that they see in the next moment, but they're going to remember that kindness and they will move it forward to other people down the road. And then we'll have that ripple effect of kindness going throughout the world.
Good. Yeah, so you actually just touched on the next question as well, because it's about paying it forward.
Yes.
And you actually gave us some nuggets. So, just being kind, and just taking the time out of your day to just acknowledge people.
Yes.
So, and in your book, you talk about that a lot, about paying it forward. So what are some other ways that we could pay it forward?
So for people in general, my background is human resources. I also served in the military. One of the ways I pay it forward is if I see a person who's contemplating going into the military, and I come across people all the time, I help to give them the information that they need. Because I remember that when I went into the military, it was such a different time. I've been out over 21 years now. But I remember when I went into the military, I was very misinformed by my recruiter. So I made sure to give information so that other people don't make the same mistakes I did. When it comes to being in the workplace, that's really, really important. I cannot stress that enough. If you are a person that is in a position of power or a supervisory level, it is so important for you to take the moments and look around, see who is in your department or organization that maybe you're able to mentor. Mentoring someone is paying it forward. You may not think that it is, but it is. However, when you're mentoring someone, just remember that they should be learning from you and you should also be learning from them. So one way in the workforce to pay it forward is definitely mentoring, making sure that if there's someone that's in the organization and you know what their strengths are as a supervisor, key in on those strengths. The pieces that are missing are called the weaknesses. Make sure that as a supervisor, you're looking at that person as a human being, not just another body that's sitting in a chair that's keeping it warm. Because at the end of the day, organizations, they don't have money to just throw around to everyone. They're not donating their money. Every single person. So let me take a little step back. In an organization, You hear about location being an investment. You hear about equipment being an investment.
Mm-hmm.
Supervisors, people in general need to understand that the money that's being paid to them, they're an investment too.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at yourself as an investment, if you look at your coworkers as investments,
Mm-hmm.
and you look at your subordinates as investments, then I think your mindset will change. Because at the end of the day, if you're able to, go take that extra step forward and say, okay, if we're investments, then that means the company wants to see a return on their investment. If I'm doing my job well because I'm not getting shut down or treated poorly by my supervisor or by my coworkers, then at the end of the day, my productivity is going to go up. I'm going to be more efficient. I'm going to be happier coming in. I'm not going to have so many call outs. Turnover will go down. So it's really important that, paying it forward, it circles in the different arenas, in the different industries. And unfortunately, a lot of the times people don't often see the importance of another person as a person. They just look at them as, okay, yeah, you're just here and you're annoying me. Get away. That's not so cool. That is so mean.
That's actually really true.
And I've experienced it, seen it, and I've dealt with employee relations things where, there's combativeness between individuals because of that simple fact that they don't value each other enough.
Yeah. Someone said we are definitely an investment.
Yes, you are. Companies do not donate to the people that they hire. They are expecting for their organizations to grow and thrive. But companies also need to understand that it starts with leadership. And leadership have to look at every single human being that they have hired as an investment, because if they're not able to do their work properly and function, in a productive manner in the workplace, then at the end of the day, guess what? You are wasting your money as an organization, and that person is going to be looking elsewhere. A lot of people have talked over the years about, longevity in organizations. You don't see people being loyal to companies anymore. That's one of the reasons why. It's because the upper management is not paying it forward by mentoring and growing those seeds to make sure that they keep the culture of the organization true to where the philosophy actually started from.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. You're very passionate. I can tell, just by reading your book and just by your dialogue with me now, that you're very passionate about changing the world.
I am.
And I think that's amazing. But I would love to know, why is that such an important philosophy for you?
It's important for me because as a human being, just being here, I want to be able to walk outside and feel like I'm happy. I should not have my own home as just the place where, okay, I'm tired of everything else that's going on out there. When I get home, that's my sanctuary from the storm. I want outside my door to be a sanctuary as well. I want every single person, not that we're going to walk around giddy, ha ha ha, every single day, but at the same time, I want to know that if I walk down the street, I can look at another person, smile, they'll smile back, because at the end of the day, we're being a kinder place to live it. It's just one of those very natural things for me to, try and go out of my way to help others to be happier. If there's any information I can pass along to make sure that your day is better, anything that I can do to possibly change your life in a positive way, I'm going to do. So, I have my son, he's 19 years old. There are lots of parents that are out there that are wondering to themselves, where are we going? Where are we going as a country?
Mm-hmm.
I want this to be a global shift, because there's so many countries where we have issues, so many countries, and we are all one. Because if someone comes to this country, they're still a human being, nothing about them changed. them being in their country, they're still a human being. They still need to live and they still need to thrive. So at the end of the day, just being in that space where I stop and I think not just about me, but I think about the people across the water. Anyone that's in my home country from Jamaica, anyone that's overseas, say in the UK, the kids in China. I want to know that I'm doing my part as a human being to make sure that everyone has a better life. Because for everything that we don't do and for everything that we overstep and just, oh, it has nothing to do with me. Please keep in mind, I promise you, it comes back. It comes back. So we definitely need to do better as a society, and anything that I can do to promote that and to get people, just feeling like, hey, yeah, we do need to do better. Let it start with me. For every person that says, let it start with me, and they are actively and mindfully doing it, guess what? We are going to get there. We are going to get there. So I just want it to be a better place for my son. Eventually, I hope to be a grandma. So I would love my grandkids.
He's only 19.
To come.
You can say, slow down, slow down.
Well, yeah, no. Don't get twisted. He's only 19. So I'm looking forward to many years without being okay, I guess I'll be a grandma. But, but down the road, when he does, decide to settle down and have kids, at the end of the day, I will want for my grandchildren to be in a world where they don't have to worry about if they go to school or they're going to come back alive. We need to start as parents at the lowest level, from the time that they're an infant, teaching love and kindness. We have to. Sometimes people, they get in their little thing and they're mad at this person. They might talk about somebody at work and they might say something negative. Stop and think. Those little ears are listening. Mm-hmm. The things that you do, those little eyes are watching. Mm-hmm. As they get older, the person that you are is who they will become. So for us to look down the road and say, you know what? Yeah, I don't care so much because I'm not going to be here. Well, your offsprings are going to be here. Your loved ones are going to have offsprings, even if you don't, that are going to be here. And I would like to think that we want a better society overall for everyone. So, for me, I'm just like, let's get this party started. Let's start
get the show on the
kindness, love, and be genuine about it. People can see and feel fake behaviors. They really can. So make sure that you're genuine about it. If you're not in the mood, you don't have to say a word. You can just, you know what? Okay, I'm going to take my little self this way. But at the end of the day, it does not take anything off of anyone to be kind. It really doesn't. Yeah. It is free. It's free. Free.
It's free.
Yes.
So with that, what advice would you give someone who is struggling to harness their own power? Because we find that sometimes people, they want to find themselves. They don't know exactly where to go or how to attain power. So what advice would you give to someone who is trying to harness their power?
First, I would say, think outside the box. Don't lock yourself in the box. It is so important that we kind of take a step back and look at what we love to do. And sometimes what we really, really love to do can actually make us a living. Mm-hmm. If you're happy doing what you're doing, I guarantee you, one, it's going to be done better. Two, you're going to enjoy the crap out of it. And if you have the ability to make a living from it, then, oh my goodness, you just hit pay dirt. So just make sure that, you're not locking yourself into what is expected. Look seriously at who you are. Stop and think, okay, this is me. These are the things that I love. What I love, how am I going to make that marketable? I spoke with a young lady years ago when I was driving Uber, and she said to me, I'm just
shout out to Uber, okay? Can we just take a minute and shout out to Uber?
Uber, yes. So I was talking with her and I said, so do you like your job? And she said, no, not really. I said, why not? She was a server at a restaurant on the main line. And I asked her, why not? She said, well, I'm just trying to get a car. I said, okay, okay. I understand she was young as well. And I asked her, you know, about college. And she said, well, that wasn't for her. And I asked her, what were her thoughts? What did she really like? And she looked at me and she said, well, you know what? I like to eat. And she started cracking up. I said, okay. I said, that's something you could do. And she looked at me. She was like, what? I said, yes. I said, stop and think about it. I said, every single day people eat. I said, no matter how much of a recession we're in, people go to restaurants. People always eat. So because we need that to live and people want to go to nice places, they want to try different things. I said, one of the things you could do is get a journal and, you know, make sure that you use pencil, not pen, because that way you can make changes if you want to. And just taste the food, close your eyes, figure out the texture, figure out how it tastes. Try to liken it to things that people will understand and they're able to put two and two together and go, oh, okay, so now I get an idea of what I'm going to be eating. And she was like, oh, I didn't think of that. I said, yeah, I said, you could become a food critic. You love to eat. Food critics love to eat. Not only that, but they're able to share that information with everyone else. And when they share that information with everybody else, then I'm a picky eater. So I'll already know, don't go to that restaurant, go to that one. This is what you try. This is what you don't try. I'm not adventurous when it comes to eating. So it would be helpful to have more people out there that are able to critique food and say, okay, this is what you do. So in talking with her, you know, and trying to expand on what her thoughts were about what she wanted to do, we were able to figure out, hey, food critic is an option. But maybe she doesn't really want to become a food critic. Maybe she really wants to be in the food industry, period, because she loves food. So there are other things that she could do. And I was able to give her some helpful tips as to how to go about that. So when it comes down to it, get a book, get a pen, get a pencil, whichever makes you happy. Use that as your starting point. Make sure that you're listing down the things that you really love to do, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. Organizations use something called a SWOT analysis, and it's strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. If you use that tool to look at what it is that you really love, and I really do challenge people to do what they love more than anything else. Use that, look at your strengths, look at your weaknesses, the opportunities that you would have if you were to try to put it into practice, and look at the threats. So the threats could be, you know, anything from, oh, well, I'm doing the same thing as this person. Maybe the location is too close. Maybe I need to branch out a little further, things like that. Also, remember that America, as long as you're in the United States, we have, you know, 48 contiguous. We also have 2 outlying. We also have, you know, different places such as Puerto Rico. There are so many different places. Do not lock yourself into being in just one state. It's okay to pack up your things and move somewhere else. If there's a job out there for you that you would love to do, don't hold yourself to just the environment that you were raised in. Branch out, learn more about the world, and at the end of the day, you'll also help to find yourself a little bit better too. So just trying to understand the person that you are from within is really important in harnessing your power.
Nice. So I mean, if you didn't take anything away from tonight, I feel sorry for you. Okay. So Simone.
Yes.
How can we get our hands on this book? Okay. I mean, you shared a lot of great nuggets tonight, but that is just a tiny bit of what's in this book. So how can we get our hands on this book?
So it is available on Amazon worldwide, and you're able to get it in 2 formats, paper book and you can get it in ebook. Ebook is $9.99, paperback is $24.95. If you would like for me to sign a book for you, I'll sell you a book personally. And if you want it, shipped out to you, then I do have a website. It's www.simonedaniels.com. Please check out the website because there are great resources on the website, and you're able to also donate to organizations that are trying to make this world a better place. Make sure that you go on there. You're able to send me an email to reach out. My phone number is also listed on the website. So please feel free to reach out to me, and I will personalize a message to maybe yourself or to a loved one if you want to send it as a gift. Christmas is coming up, so make sure that you are doing your part to inspiring change within yourself and the world around you. When the new year comes in, a lot of people make their New Year's resolutions, and a lot of the times it's, I'm gonna make a change about maybe my eating habits, maybe my exercise habits, things like that.
Absolutely.
I think it's really important that we make a change about our behavioral habits, our thinking process, the words that come out of our mouth, our actions towards others. Those are all so important. So reach out to me. I will coordinate with you, get the book to you, put it in a nice little bow, wrap it up, all of those things. But certainly reach out to me. You can even touch base with Shania, and she can connect with me that way as well. But Amazon.com is where you would go, and you'd be able to learn a little bit more about me as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Simone. This was amazing. Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate you. And thank you all for joining us as well. You guys are all dynamite. Rise up, stand tall, be better.
Join the
harness
movement.
Your power and change the world.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good night, you guys. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you guys again soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.